Welcome everyone to Paul Ricard for round 4 of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. It is great to be back. My name is Chris McCarthy. I'm going to be calling you through the action this weekend. And just a few days after the checkered flag was waved at Monaco, we are getting ready to go for qualifying 1 here at Paul Ricard, which will set the grid for the first race of the weekend later. As you can see, it is set to be a very hot weekend. Temperatures already over 30 degrees. We're going to be getting track temperatures of over 40 degrees. Yesterday, speaking to the guys at Pirelli, they were measuring the track temperatures at just over 40 degrees when the temperature, air temperature at that time was around 28. So expect it to get towards 50 degrees track temperature. And of course, softer compound of tyres we are running this year as well. And this is a track known for tyre degradation as well. So of all the circuits we've been to, I think this round is going to be the toughest test for the drivers when it comes to tyre management. We've had wet race weekends pretty much every round so far this season. We just about got away with it at Monaco, but that's a street circuit, of course. This one back to a proper race circuit now. Speaking to one of the drivers yesterday, I was speaking to Michael Belov actually. They were out for practice yesterday, and he was saying to me that after about 3 or 4 laps, the tyres were starting to go off. So he said it's going to be absolutely crucial to manage the tyres. Now, as ever, if you are new to Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us. You join us at round 4 of 10 of the season. We're getting ready to go for qualifying. Now, there are going to be 2 groups for qualifying, as there always is. The groups are split by championship position. Group A is the odd numbers in the championship, i.e. 1st, 3rd, 5th, and so on. And Group B will be 2nd, 4th, 6th in the championship, and so on. So here is the entry list for the first group. You can see we are going to have out there, we've got Paul Aron. He's going to be out there in the number 3, Maceo Capietto in the 5, Esteban Masson in the 9, Levente Rivets in the 11, Sami Megatunov in the 17, Dino Beganovic, our championship leader, Piotr Wisnicki, Han Chen Yu, Francesco Braschi, Michael Belov, Gabriele Mini, Pietro Deligoanti, Sebastian Montoya, Santiago Ramos, Tim Tramnitz. They're going to have 15 minutes on track to set their times. They will often go out, put in a couple of laps, come in, change tyres and do the same again. Now this weekend, the question is, can Dino Beganovic be beaten over the course of an entire weekend? He has finished no lower than 2nd place so far this season. Everyone expected, myself included, coming into this season, that this was going to be a season where we saw multiple different race winners. We've seen various different race winners, but half the wins have gone to one driver in Dino Beganovic, and as a result, he has over 100 points, 129 points in comparison to the 74 points of Hadrian David, who finished in 2nd place. Now, just to bring you up to speed of what happened in practice yesterday. They were out for practice. We had 2 test sessions. In the first test, the track was wet. Believe it or not, it rains every single round we go to this season. So that session was a bit of a write-off. Paul Aron was quickest. One thing we took away from that, though, was Levente Rivets, the Hungarian for Van Amersfoort Racing, was 2nd. Really, really impressive. He's hoping for rain, but there is little to no chance of that happening this weekend. Dino was in 3rd. Capietto, the Frenchman, was 4th place. Then it was Deligoanti in 5th. Boyer was 6th. Ramos in impressive 7th. Montoya was 8th. Noel Leon, who was in the points at Monaco, he's 9th. Megatunov was 10th. Then it dried up for the 2nd collective test. As I said, it was about 28 degrees during that session, and Paul Aron was quickest by just under 0.3 of a second, ahead of Michael Belov in 2nd. Gabriele Mini finished in 3rd place. Michael Belov, it was his debut at Monaco last week as well, so went very well considering it was his first time racing there. Gabriele Mini, this is an ART track. They won here last year with Gregor Sorsi and took both pole positions. So this could be a round for him to capitalise. And speaking to their team manager yesterday, He was quite happy with the work they put in yesterday, but also referred to the fact that this is a track they go well at. Pietro Deligoanti was very, very happy yesterday. The RPM driver finishing in 4th place, so well done to him. Brand new team on the grid, of course. Hadrian David, who had a great weekend here last year, he won the first race, then went from the pit lane to 10th in the second race. He was 5th. Mari Boyer was 6th. Mateus Zagazetto, who's had a disappointing run since an impressive season opener, he was 7th and by far the top rookie. Then we had Gabriel Bortoletto, then Dino Beganovic, then Dudu Barrichello, who's there in the 91. Now, a couple of things to talk about as Lorenzo Fluxer, who will be in the second group, gets ready to go out. A couple of things to clear up from last week. Speaking to Paul Aron, many of you would have seen Paul Aron had that incident coming down towards Mirabeau. He was incredibly frustrated yesterday, but also is now really fired up for this weekend. That was actually a mistake that led to that incident happening as he came through Casino. Front end pushed on, he went into the barriers, and that broke the suspension. And as he came down to Mirabeau, he was already going very slowly, knowing he was carrying damage. That saw him go straight into the barriers, and that completely ruined his weekend, because he had to then jump out the car. He didn't qualify for the second race, and he finished 25th in the first. So he was absolutely fired up yesterday, went quickest in both sessions. He's out in this session as well in the number 3, so watch out for him. Watch out for Hadrian David as well, because he said to me that good things are coming today. That's all he said to me when I spoke to him yesterday. So looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Also, we're going to be missing a couple of drivers from this round, sadly. Delano Vantoff has had surgery to his collarbone after Monaco, and unfortunately he's going to have to sit out this round, but he will be back for his home race at Zandvoort, and we wish him all the best. Delano, if you're watching, we do miss you. We look forward to having you back at Zandvoort. And no, sadly, we will not have Lena Bula at this round. She actually had a really scary crash here a couple of years ago at this corner, rolled the car in Spanish F4 coming into what is turn number 12, unfortunately. So Lena Bula, unfortunately, is not going to be with us. She had to sit out the second round, and I imagine under the same circumstances, she's now having to sit this round out. Hopefully, she's going to be back later in the season. Championship standings for you. Dino Beganovic is on 129 points. First and second at every single round so far, believe it or not. Hadrian David, second. Of course, got his first ever pole position at Monaco, and took a win there as well, adding to the victory that he got here last year. And also at Monaco, at Monza, sorry, as well, at the end of last season. Gabriele Mini is third on 67 points. Then it is Kaz Havercourt in 4th place. Great weekend for him, coming back after he was disqualified from the second race in Imola when he finished on the podium. He then bounced back at Monaco and got on the podium again and took 4th the next day. Michael Belov 5th. Gabriel Bortoletto is 6th. He's on 49. Belov is on 56. Havercourt is on 59. Paul Aron is on 48, so a lot of ground to make up for him. Mari Boyer is then on 44. Sebastian Montoya is on 20. Lorenzo Fluxer comes next after that. Here we see Dudu Barrichello. Positive weekend for him last time out. He took an 11th and a 13th place overall. 11th in race 1 in Monaco is his best ever result in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and overall that's the best weekend he has ever had in this championship. And to be honest, he was a little bit delayed in his qualifying session. It looked like he could have gone a bit better overall if things would have swung in his direction. But progress is definitely being made by Dudu Barrichello. Be interesting to see how he goes this weekend. Just his second time racing here, made his debut here last year. You've got to remember, Dudu Barrichello came over from the States last year, raced in Europe for the very first time, so had to learn every single track on the calendar. So he's still playing catch-up in terms of the other drivers around him on this circuit. Okay, they make their way round the final corner. The quickest times from yesterday was a 1:59.325 in the second collective test. The pole time from last year was a 1:57.787. That was the quickest time. However, the lap record is still held by our 2020 champion, Gianluca Petikov, a 1:57.596, the Freck champion from 2020. This is one of the tracks we did a pre-season test at, one of 3 circuits. The top 10 from that pre-season test. Gabriele Mini was comfortably quickest by 3.5 tenths over Michael Belov. Then Paul Aron was 3rd place. Gabriel Bortoletto was 4th. Mari Boyer was 5th. Lorenz van Hopen was 6th. Sami Megatunev 7th. Kaz Havercourt 8th. Joshua Dirksen 9th. Tim Tramnitz in 10th. So Tim Tramnitz, again, could be one to watch in this round. There's Sebastian Montoya. 21st he was at the pre-season test here. Yesterday, just looking down at the result for Sebastian Montoya, he was 11th place yesterday. And last time out for him, of course, racing at Monaco, finished 17th and 14th, was the first round. He hasn't finished inside the points. Points are awarded to the top 10 in the championship. Rookie wins both went to Lorenz van Hopen as well. Was a very good round for him. Okay, looks like we're going to put some times on the board. As I said, keep in mind those pole times from last year. 1:57.7 was the quickest one we had on the first day. Michael Belov, though, is lining up for a quick lap, isn't he, as he comes through 14 now into 15. The MP Motorsport driver, down a driver this weekend with no Delano Vanthoff, and still we are gearing up for quick laps as they come across the line. Softer compound tyre, remember, for this one, but I think this will be our first real push laps as we watch Michael Belov now come through the first couple of corners and make his way down towards turn number 3. Just under 8 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time to get in a time. You can see the live positions to the left of your screen. Belov, Masson, Ramos, Tramnitz, Montoya, Mini, Rivets, remember, second quickest in the first test. Deli Gawanti, who was in the top 5 both sessions. Tangavelu, Wisnicki, Beganovic, Capietto, Braschi, Aron, Han Chen Yu, Fornaroli, Megatunev, Barrichello. Belov makes his way down the back straight, says this is going to be a good track for push to pass as well. He says it's going to be the best one we've been to so far, so expect lots of overtaking here this weekend as we come in towards the first chicane now. The number 30 there, good run, a little bit of a slide coming out of the Mistral chicane, but overall a solid run this so far for Michael Belov as he now makes the long run down to turn 10. Just while we have a moment, the question is going to be that run down to turn 10. Do you use push to pass down to turn 8, the chicane, or do you use it down to turn 10? That's going to be something the drivers are already thinking about, believe me, as we watch Michael Belov now make his way up towards turn number 12. Very tricky corner, this one that's very tough on the tyres as well, as is the next one. We've got a full course yellow, sadly. So we've had someone have an off. Full course yellow. All drivers reduce speed. That is the number 5 of Maceo Capietto, the rookie, home race. And he's come to a stop coming round turn number 6, just before the back straight. That looks like a mechanical issue, doesn't it? It looks like the car is just grind to a halt there. I can't imagine he's had a spin. It would be quite an unusual place to do so, unless he's run wide. But the position that the car is stopped, no damage on it at all. I think Maceo Capietto has unfortunately hit mechanical problems. A real shame for Maceo. Car will now be pushed into a safe position. The 16-year-old, home race for him. He was 3rd in the French F4 Championship last year. He won here as well at Paul Ricard last season. So this would be a good place for him. He did have a bad weekend at Monaco. He crashed down at Tabac. Now, speaking or hearing from Maceo, he spoke about the crash and said that a lot of people had gone wide through Nouvelle Chicane, had cut the corner, and it was just a little bit of a mess, and that put him off and saw him make a mistake and go into the barriers. So a real shame for him. Likewise, Roman Belinsky's incident up at Massenet was due to a little bit of contact. So a shame for him, and he struggled a little bit yesterday, said it wasn't the best day for him when I spoke to him. Let's see if he can recover today. He's going to be in the next group. This is not good news for this group, though. Don't forget this, how the qualifying groups work. The quickest group will form the inside row of the grid. The slower group will form the outside row of the grid. Group A is out first today. Group B out second, and then that swaps round for tomorrow. Fans make their way into the circuit. Qualifying well underway. Okay, let's see if we can get some more times on the board now. You can see Tim Tramnitz had done a good first sector, but Gabriele Mini, we watched the number 46, looking to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Saucy, who won here last year. Esteban Ocon is another ART driver that won here back in 2013. Can Gabriele Mini put the team back on the top step for what would be the third time around here? Out of the final corner we go. Gabriele Mini. To do that, he'll want to get on pole position. To do that, he's got to set the quickest time in this group, first of all, as he makes his way down the start-finish straight now and up towards the first corner. I'll keep an eye on the sectors. We had a good one going from Brasky, but overall, it's really hard to judge which ones are going quickly because we are yet to see really respectable times. Given that yesterday, a 1:59.325 was our quickest time. So far, our quickest time is a 2:05, so we're well away from a pole position time. But there we see, Gabriele Mini did briefly go quickest through the first sector, but Dino Begnovic beat it immediately. So the Swede going quickest, he's in the background there in the red and white Prema. Has always been on the front two rows in qualifying so far this season. Hugely, hugely consistent. Dino Begnovic at a track that Prema really struggled at last year. Seems to be changing the form books for the team who struggled at tracks last year. He's rewriting that this year is Dino, as Pietro Deligoanti now goes to the top. 1:59.415. Okay, that's more like it now. So we've seen what could be a provisional pole time from Deligoanti. 1:59.4, 1:59.5 for Tramnitz, so 1:59.8 for Sebastian Montoya. We are watching Gabriele Mini, Dino Begnovic make their way up towards turn number 12. Begnovic quickest through the first sector, both of them personal best through the second sector, but none of them going as quick as what we saw from the likes of Michael Belov, who has just gone quickest. 1:59.086 for Michael Belov. That puts him to the top. Tangavelu goes to third place. Tramnitz up to fourth place. Masson up to sixth place. Here we go, though. Is Gabriele Mini going to go up to the top of the timing screens now? He makes his way to the line. Yes, 1:59.011, but it's beaten immediately there by Dino Begnovic at 1:58.994. As we go again for what will be the final push laps. Pietro Deligoanti has just gone quickest through the first sector, the RPM driver in the 55. There he is, we pick him up in perfect timing now coming through turn number 10. This, the new team on the grid, set up by Keith Donegan, who's going to be out in the second group. And Pietro Deligoanti going really well in this session, yet to be in the points so far this season. But it's only a matter of time before we start to see the Pietro Deligoanti we saw towards the end of last season. He makes his way round towards the final couple of corners. Paul Aron has gone quickest through the first sector. Michael Belov has gone quickest through the second sector. we're going to see lots of changes to the timing screens as Megatunif goes across the line to go into the top 10. Here comes Deligoanti now, up towards the line. He currently sits in 5th place. Can he improve on that? No, 159.303, and Deligoanti unable to improve. He might just be able to sneak one more lap in. Tim Tramnitz now being shown up in 5th place as he improves right at the death to put Deligoanti down in 6th. That means Deligoanti will start on row 6, Tramnitz on row 5. Michael Belov, can he get himself up to pole position right at the end of the session there? 2nd place, so a potential row 2 start here for Michael Belov. 158.999, 5 thousandths away from Beganovic. Gabriele Mini is not improving through the 2nd sector. Paul Aron is absolutely flying in the number 3. Beganovic, personal best through the first 2 sectors as we see these two now coming up to the line. Mini, is he able to improve as he comes up to the line? Not quite able to improve, but Beganovic is 158.808, and Aron improves as well, 158.810 for Paul Aron, and that looks like pretty much everyone across the line. Dudu Barrichello sneaked up to 11th right at the end there. Other than that, I think that's going to be a lot. Aron missing out on a front row start and a potential pole position by 2 thousandths of a second. Hugely close between the two Prema drivers there. 158.808, and yet again we're going to see Dino Beganovic starting on the front row of the grid. Paul Aron will start on row number 2. Gabriele Mini will start on row 3. He was 51 thousandths back from pole position. Hugely close. Michael Belov was just under 2 tenths away. He lost time coming through the final sector, actually. It looks like he was on for pole position. He went quickest through the 2nd sector, but unfortunately lost a couple of tenths through the last one. Don't know if he was delayed or made a mistake. Tramnitz in the top 10. He was the quickest rookie in that session. Deligoanti 6th. I think he'll be relatively happy with that. Montoya in 7th place. Tangavelu in 8th place. That's a good performance from him. Masson in 9th. Megatunif 10th. Barrichello 11th. Ramos in 12th. Fornaroli, Wisnicki, Rivets, Braschi, Han Chen-Yu, Capietto at the back of the field, sadly, after a mechanical issue. And Beganovic definitely very happy with that. The Ferrari Driver Academy member doing fantastic things. When you speak to him, he just carries such confidence around the paddock, does Dino Beganovic. And that will now be his, if he can do it, his potential 4th pole position. But he's set the time for Group B to now try and go and beat. The time is 158.808. Okay, confirmation of the results from the first group then. Dino Beganovic at the top. First place for him in Group A. Paul Aron finishes in 2nd, 2 thousandths behind. Gabriele Mini 3rd, Michael Belov 4th, Tim Tramnitz 5th, Pietro Deligoanti 6th, then Sebastian Montoya, Owen Tangavelu, Esteban Masson, Sami Megatunif, Dudu Barrichello, Santiago Ramos, Leonardo Fornaroli, Piotr Wisnicki, Levente Rivets. Remember, these results is the row they will start on for the first race. Francesco Braschi will be row 16, Han Chen-Yu will be row 17. Sadly, with a lot of work to do at the back of the field, Maceo Capietto will be all the way down in row 18. But his countryman Hadrian David proved that if you've got the pace, you can come through, fight your way through to finish inside the points. No doubt Capietto will take some inspiration from that as he goes into the race. Now, these drivers, particularly Dino, will hop out the car, head over to the pit wall and watch on to see if the drivers in the next group can go and beat that time. If the time of a 158.808 is beaten, then Dino Beganovic and Group A will start on the outside row of the grid. So in the next group, we are going to see Group B Hadrian David, Kaz Havercourt, Gabriel Bortoleto, Murray Boyer, Lorenzo Fluxer, Joshua Dirksen, Lawrence Van Hopen, Noel Leon, Josh Dufek, Roman Belinsky, Victor Bernier, Keith Donegan, Nicholas Baptiste, Axel Noss, Mateus Zacazeta, Pietro Armani, Hamda Al-Kabasi. But the Prema guys very, very happy with that. They did do very well here in the Formula Regional European Championship. They were actually quite an unstoppable force here. They won in 2019 and 2020. They won every single race. Frederic Vesti won 2 races in 2019 with Enzo Fittipaldi winning the other, and Arthur Leclerc won both 2 races in 2020 with eventual champion Gianluca Petikov winning the other. So it's not a track that they are bad at in years gone by. They just didn't have a good time here last year, unfortunately. But in the Formula Regional European Championship, of course, before we became FRECA, they won every race here. There's Levente Rivets. Not quite the wet weather he was hoping for, sadly, but he can take a lot of positives from that. As we go green now for Group B, cars making their way out onto the circuit. They know the time they have to go and beat. Again, it doesn't matter how many of them beat it. If 5 of them beat it, then Dino Beganovic will still start second. Well, let's talk about some of the drivers heading out onto the circuit then. In the all blue, the Alpine junior there, number 26, that is Hadrian David. Great weekend for him at Monaco, a first and a second, and a pole position as well. Started on pole in the first race. Technically, he didn't take overall pole position, but he took the quickest time in his group, and that meant he started pole for the first race, as we only had 1 qualifying session at Monaco due to the hectic timetable there. But Hadrian David, that first and second, his best ever weekend he's had in this championship, put him all the way up to second in the standings. 74 points. This is a track he went very well at last year. Like I said, there he is, the Alpine junior, and he said to me, good things are coming today. Paul Aron was very fired up as well, and was only 2 thousandths away from going pole position, or provisional pole position. Here's Gabriel Bortoleto in the number 85, the only driver to have finished every race ever in FRECA. He's finished every race from last season and every race from this season as well. He is Mr. Consistent. Apart from the top 2 in the championship, he's the only one to finish every race inside the top 10 as well. He didn't quite realise he was the only one to have finished every race from last season and this season. He was one of 4 to do it last season, to finish every race, but he's the only one to have carried over this season and done the same thing. Hugely, hugely consistent driver. So Gabriel Bortoleto, he said to me yesterday as well, he reckons that when we get to the end of the season, he had a pretty solid time at Monaco, 6th and a 5th, good points on the board. He said that's, you know, hugely important, because he reckons we're going to have 20 points between a good chunk of drivers. I mean, at the moment, Dino Beganovic is in a field of his own. But when you look down the rest, we have Hadrian David on 74 and Murray Boyer in 8th place on 44. So 30 points there between 7 drivers. So he's not wrong, is he? But he's a very consistent driver. Keeps himself out of trouble. And has had a visit to the podium as well at Imola in race 2 after that penalty for that man there, Kaz Havercourt, the number 27. Putting Van Amersfoort on the podium at Monaco. That might have been their first ever podium there as well. It was a mixed weekend for them. Sadly, they had that big crash for Jake Hughes in F2. Thankfully, he was okay, but he had a tough time in the race where he started on pole position, sadly. But Kaz Havercourt put them on the podium. team going along really, really well this year, not only in FRECA, but in Formula 3 and Formula 2 as well. Their first time jumping into F3 and F2. And when you speak to Kaz, he says the atmosphere within the team is so, so good. And they're based near him as well in the Netherlands, and he's hugely enjoying working with them. And he'll be very excited for his home race coming up in 2 weeks. We go to Zandvoort in a couple of weeks for round number 5, which will mark the halfway point of the season when we leave there. After that, we go to Hungary. Then we will be at Spa for the 24 hours. Then to the Red Bull Ring. And then after that, we go to... after that, we go for round number 9. The penultimate round of the season. We end at Mugello. Round 9 will be at Barcelona. Also in this group, Gabriel Bortoleto, we spoke about him. Mari Boyer as well. Spoke to him about Monaco. He was quite disappointed. Reckons that that was a round that got away from him, really. He set the quickest lap in both races. So he reckons that they could have had both wins. There he is in the 64, Mari Boyer. He, in the end, took 2 7th places, but he said he just got slightly held up in qualifying, and that unfortunately meant that he wasn't able to go and set the pole position time that he said he had in the car. But fastest lap in both races proved that Mari Boyer has a lot of pace in that car. One to watch this weekend, perhaps. Lorenzo Fluxa, likewise, hasn't been in the points since that podium he got at the first race. Was very unfortunate in the second race, came just shy at Imola, and was quite unlucky in qualifying at Monaco as well. So could do with a bit of luck going his way. Joshua Dirksen will be out there as well, having a good run of form in the last 2 rounds, 8th, 9th and 12th. The Arden driver doing really well. Lawrence Van Hopen, we've got to speak about him as well. Got his first points on the board and his first rookie wins as well. 2 8th places at Monaco, 2 rookie wins as well, in front of the F1 paddock and in front of his mentor, Nick de Vries, as well, who was there with the Williams team. He was incredibly happy with that, I'm sure. Lawrence spoke to the team boss at ART yesterday, and he said that he's carrying a lot of confidence this weekend off the back of that. So we'll keep an eye on Lawrence Van Hopen. This is his first full year of single-seater racing. He did do a couple of races towards the back end of last year in the Ultimate Cup Series, just to get himself bedded in. But he did not do any F4 racing. He just jumped straight into FRECA off the guidance of Nick de Vries himself, actually. Noel Leon, how good was that for him to get inside the points at Monaco, the Red Bull Junior, in front of the Red Bull team, and in front of Checo Perez as well, who had a really good weekend as well. So the Mexican doing a really good job. We're going to have Josh Dufek out there, Belinsky as well, who will want to bounce back after that tough race in Monaco. Victor Bernier has not had a good couple of rounds. He'll want to find his form from the first round. Keith Donegan, likewise, will want to get that form back we saw from the first round from him. Nicolas Baptiste will be out there in the number 35 as well. Nicolas Baptiste, who has a best result of 16th. Axel Noss next. Matthias Zagazzetta, who was quick in practice yesterday, 7th quickest overall. Pietro Armani out there as well, as is Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Time they've got to beat, to remind you, is a 1:58.808 set by Dino Beganovic, who's looking for his 5th pole position in the championship. Victor Bernier makes his way now round turn 11. He raced here back in 2020 when he was doing French F4, did Victor Bernier. So it's been a little while since he's been here. But he did take a win that weekend, so 2019 it was that he was last here. Took 3 podiums, including a win that weekend, so does have some good form at this circuit as he makes his way up to the line now. The FA Racing driver goes to the top. That's still 2 seconds away from what we saw in the first group, so nothing to get too excited about yet, but it's positive, that's for sure. Here comes the Mexican, Noel Leon, the Red Bull Junior. 2 minutes flat as well. Well done to him. To the top for now. There's Nicolas Baptiste in the 35, the FA Racing driver. They've had a difficult time in recent events, FA Racing, but they have got some pace in that team. And they are very good at nurturing rookie drivers and getting them up to speed. Gabriel Bortoleto is a prime example of that. Here's Kaz Havercourt on form. Every race that he's finished, he's done so inside the top 5 positions. Of course, that race he was disqualified from, he finished 3rd. So when he finishes races, or when he doesn't get disqualified, he finishes inside the top 5. Hugely, hugely consistent. There's Josh Dufek in the 13, but we're going to pick up Kaz Havercourt now, looking to try and challenge Dino Beganovic for pole position. He makes his way now down to the start-finish line. Laurens van Hopen goes to the top with a 158.8. Kaz Havercourt 159.5. So 159.8 it was for Van Hopen, 159.7 for Boyer, 159.5 for Havercourt, 159.3 for Bortoleto, 159.2 for Fluxa. We're getting closer now, just 4 tenths away from beating that pole position, but that is a really good time there from Lorenzo Fluxa, the RHGP driver. Just hasn't had great luck in the past couple of rounds, but we know when he qualified on the front row at the first round and finished on the podium, incredibly quick driver. Let's see if he can find that pace back here at Paul Ricard and get back where he belongs at the front of the field as he makes his way now round turn 6 and through turn 7. The RHGP driver looking to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Hadrian David, Logan Sargent, Max Futrell, who are all winners here for RHGP at this level. Just under 4 minutes to go. Laurens van Hopen is there in the 42 leading the way. And the orange and black, that's Dufek. Then there's Boyer in the white and black. Here in the orange and black for Van Amersfoort Racing is Kaz Havercourt. Purple in sector 1. And I say that, I mean quickest overall. So Kaz Havercourt absolutely flying on this lap now. Only needs to find 4 tenths. And you can see he's 3 tenths up through the first sector alone. So Dino Beganovic's time is looking very likely to be beaten. 158.808 is the time to beat. Maybe slightly wide, might have just been the angle we were looking at it there for Kaz Havercourt as he now comes into turn 14, makes the long run there, get back across to the left-hand side of the circuit to open up turn 15. Got to get a good exit from here, and now the run down to the start-finish line. Are we going to see an improvement for Kaz Havercourt? Dufek goes to 5th, Boyer up to 2nd, Havercourt to pole, 159.260. It's not quick enough to beat the overall time as Gabriel Bortoleto now goes quickest, 159.062 for him. Hadrian David can't improve as he comes across the line. He is in 5th place so far, but Gabriel Bortoleto is currently quickest now as he slows down. Interesting that we're not seeing the drivers come into the pits. They're staying out for the entire session. It's not something we're used to seeing. So we can debrief here just for a minute now as they get ready for their last push lap. So Bortoleto is quickest, 159.062. That would be the first time we see him start on the front row, if he can stay there this season. Kaz Havercourt is 2nd. That would match his best qualifying result. Lorenzo Fluxa 3rd. Mari Boyer 4th, 3 tenths of a second back. Also 3 tenths back is Hadrian David. He'll be quite disappointed with that. He'll want to make his way up. Josh Dufek is the top rookie. So the red backgrounds to the numbers to the left of screen. The red backgrounds are the rookie drivers. They have their the rookie standings as well. Top rookie goes on the podium with the top 3. And we also give the top rookie the championship trophy as well, which was won last year by Isaac Hadjar. And in doing so, he's gone on to be backed by the Red Bull team. His performances at the likes of Monaco were so impressive that the Red Bull team picked him up, and he's now doing great things in FIA F3, isn't he? But he is quickest, okay. Right, I think we are seeing track limits here. There you can see, well, Kaz Havercourt, 4 wheels over the white line. And that's something that, if it hasn't already been looked at, will be looked at. They will be deleting times for track limits if necessary, so you've got to be careful of that. Okay, time to catch our breath, because this is going to be a hectic last lap, I'm sure. Dufek is the quickest rookie so far. From Van Hopen, from Dirksen, then it's Zagazeta, then Belinsky, then Leon, Bernier, Alcabasi, doing a pretty good job there in 13th. Baptiste, Donegan, Armani, Axel Noss down in 17th place. Remember, no Delano Vanthoff, no Lena Bula this weekend, sadly. As everyone tries to find a little bit of space. They're not all going to get across the line here. The flag is about to go out, so some of them have just waited far too long, and that's it. The checkered flag is out. So in trying to find space, none of them are going to make it across the line. Dufek actually didn't make it across the line either. So bizarrely, that's the end of the session. What a strange end. They were so concentrated on trying to find space that none of them have made it across the line. And that is the end of the session. Well, that will... Oh, Gabriel Bortoletto won't be complaining about that, nor will Dino Beganovic. So it's confirmed then that Dino Beganovic will start from overall pole position for race 1 later on. Starting alongside him on the front row will be Gabriel Bortoletto, the RHGP driver in the 85. Here's confirmation of the results. There we go. I was expecting a last lap with lots of changes, but there we go. Kaz Havercourt second, Lorenzo Fluxer third, Mari Boyer fourth, Hadrian David fifth, Josh Dufek sixth, Lawrence Van Hopen seventh, then Mateus Zagazeta eighth, Josh Dirksen ninth, Roman Belinsky 10th, then Noel Leon 11th, Victor Bernier 12th, Nicholas Baptiste, then Axel Noss, Hamda Al-Kabasi next along. Keith Donegan after that, and Pietro Armani. Well, there we go. I'm sorry we didn't get a last lap, but they were all just... I don't really know what happened there. They all just waited far too long to get across the line. Gabriel Bortoletto won't be complaining, though. He's going to start on the front row for the first time this season. Kaz Havercourt will start on row 2 for the second time this season. Lorenzo Fluxer back up the top, 3rd place. Mari Boyer, 4th place. Hadrian David, 5th. That's all for qualifying. The grid is now set. Race number 1 will go live at 3:15 local time here in France. For now, it's goodbye.